I used to get destroyed in 1v1s. Not just lose, humiliated. One touch and I was on the ground. One move and the ball was gone. I'd try to dribble, panic under pressure, take a heavy touch, and boom, turnover in a dangerous spot. My coach benched me. Teammates stopped passing to me, even when I was wide open. Not because they didn't like me, because they couldn't trust me. And the worst part, I blamed everything but the real problem. My feet, my speed, my build. I thought I just wasn't built for pressure. But the truth, it wasn't my body holding me back. It was one invisible thing, something no coach ever taught me. And once I figured it out, everything changed. I went from the guy who gave it away to the one everyone wanted on the ball. And today, I'm showing you exactly what it is. But here's the crazy part. This skill isn't about talent. It's not even about technique. It's something deeper. And it's why some players just never lose the ball. The player who never panics, and why it's not luck. You know that player, the one who always seems to have time, even when he's surrounded. Passing the ball in a nightmare situation. Double team, corner flag, crowd roaring, and somehow he walks out of it. No panic, no rushed decisions, just calm, smart football. Coaches love him, teammates feed him, scouts take notes. And here's the wild part. He didn't wake up like this. That unshakable calm, it wasn't luck, it was built. And what if I told you that you could train it? Not just better touches or sharper turns, but the kind of mental control that makes defenders look slow, even when they're not. Because the truth most players never hear is this. Staying composed under pressure isn't magic. It's a skill. And once you learn how to build it, everything changes. And the proof? It's not just in highlights, it's in the lab. The science of calmness under pressure. Most people assume ball retention is about technique. Clean first touch, good shielding, tight control. And sure, those help. But watch what happens when the game speeds up. When the stakes are high and 3 defenders are closing in. Suddenly, players with perfect technique and training start making rookie mistakes. Heavy touches, panic passes, losing it in dangerous areas. Why? Because their mind hasn't been trained to handle pressure the way their feet have. Their body knows what to do, but their brain freezes. And here's the thing, the best players in the world don't think their way out of pressure. They feel their way out. Take Moussa Dembélé. Never flashy, never the headline, but put him in a tight spot, and it was like the game slowed down. Defenders swarmed, and he just absorbed it. No rush, no overthinking, just smooth, instinctive movement. Scientists actually studied this. They put elite players and amateurs in high-pressure decision-making scenarios with brain scanners. The amateurs, brains lit up with stress, overanalyzing, panicking, but the pros, their prefrontal cortex, the part that handles conscious thought, was nearly silent. Instead, their motor cortex took over, the part that runs on muscle memory. They weren't thinking, they were reacting. And that's the secret. The best players don't perform under pressure because they're talented. They perform because their nervous system has been trained to stay calm, even when everything around them is chaos. So how do you train your brain to stay quiet when the pressure hits? It starts where most players never look, in the chaos of the street. Why street ball builds better instincts. Now, where does that instinct come from? Not from drills, not from YouTube tutorials. It comes from environment. Think about Ronaldinho, Maradona, Neymar. Watch their old street football clips. Barefoot, on cracked concrete, dodging potholes, cars, uneven ground. No cones, no coaching, just survival. In those moments, they weren't deciding, should I cut left or right? They were reacting, feeling the defender's breath, the ball's weight, the space opening up, all without looking. That's how elite proprioception is built. Proprioception, your body's internal GPS. It tells you where your limbs are, how fast you're moving, how much force to apply, all without visual input. It's what lets a player volley a ball out of the air without seeing it, or spin past a defender with the ball glued to their foot. And almost no one trains it. Most players grow up in clean environments. Flat grass, perfect cones, predictable drills. Then they step into a real match, where nothing's clean, nothing's predictable, and their body shuts down. They've trained for control, not for feel. And that's the gap, the difference between looking good in practice and owning the moment when it matters. But you don't need to grow up on concrete. You can build this feel, starting today, in your living room. Train your body to react without thinking. So how do you close it? Start simple. Stand on one foot, close your eyes. Feel the tiny shifts in your ankle, your hip, your core, adjusting to keep balance. That's your nervous system waking up. Now make it harder. Try it on a wobble board. Dribble a tennis ball around your living room, barefoot, without looking down. Juggle while walking backward. These aren't flashy, no one's filming them, but they force your body to feel the game, not just see it. And that's the foundation, because in a real match, there's no time to calculate angles or plan your next move. There's only time to react. The goal isn't perfection, it's automatic correction, the ability to adjust without thinking. That's what separates players who survive pressure from those who dominate it. And here's the best part. You don't need a field or a coach. You can build this at home, every day, in 5 minutes. While everyone else is chasing flashy moves, you're building something deeper, something invisible but unshakable. But physical control is only half the battle. The next level, mastering the science of shielding. Not with strength, but with intelligence. The real science of shielding. It's not what you think. But even with great balance and awareness, you'll still get pressed. And that's where most players fail. Not because they lack skill, but because they don't understand the real science of shielding. It's not about strength, it's about leverage, angles, timing, control. Watch players like Busquets, Verratti, or a young Eden Hazard. None of them were powerhouses. But try taking the ball from them? Nearly impossible. Why? Because they didn't just block defenders, they controlled them. Hazard had what I call the scissors trap. He'd step between the ball and the defender at the perfect moment, using his foot and body to create a physical barrier. Now the defender has a choice: back off or commit and risk a foul. Either way, Hazard wins. And it all starts with your base. Lower your center of gravity, bend your knees, lean into the challenge, stay wide. Now you're not just shielding, you're setting the rules. But here's the trap most players fall into. They shield and freeze, and the next thing you know, they're surrounded. The elite don't freeze. They make constant micro adjustments, small touches, head up, shifting the angle just enough to keep the defender guessing. That unpredictability is what makes tackling them a nightmare. 1 second they're leaning left, the next they've shifted right, still in control. A drill that changed my game. Dribble a tennis ball in a tiny space, eyes up moving side to side, no looking down. It feels awkward at first, but it builds insane touch and awareness under stress. And don't forget your arms. Used right, they're not for pushing, they're your frame. Absorbing pressure, matching the defender's force. Cristiano Ronaldo used this masterfully, never shoving, just enough contact to stay balanced while drawing the defender into his rhythm. That's the goal, not to fight pressure, but to redirect it. Let them press, let them commit. And when they do, you're already gone. But even perfect shielding fails if you're playing scared. And that's the real enemy most players never see. The hidden cost of playing not to lose. But here's the deeper truth, one no coach will tell you in front of the team. Losing the ball isn't the real problem. Playing scared is. Every time you hear "don't lose it," every time a teammate gives you that look after a risky pass, you start shrinking. You stop trying. You play not to lose instead of playing to create. And that's where good players plateau. The game changers, they lose the ball. A lot. Look at Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Mahrez. Stats show they get dispossessed way more than safe midfielders. But when they don't lose it, they're breaking lines, creating goals, changing the game. Safe passes don't win titles. Calculated risks do. Take Lamine Yamal. In one half, he might lose the ball 7 times, but he never stops asking for it. No fear, no hesitation. And then, boom, one move that breaks the defense wide open. That's not recklessness, that's intelligent aggression. Because the smart players don't take random risks, they take them in the right zones. Lose the ball in the final third? Fine, your team's already high up the pitch, you can press and win it back. Lose it near your own box? Now you're in trouble. Top players know this. They understand where to take risks and where to stay sharp. So here's the mindset shift. Stop asking, what if I mess up? Start asking, what if this unlocks something? Because even if you lose it, if you're doing it while trying to create, you're becoming the kind of player coaches trust when the game is on the line. And that trust, it doesn't come from never failing. It comes from what you do when no one's watching. The unseen training that builds unshakable calm. And that trust, it doesn't come from never making a mistake. It comes from how you handle pressure when no one's watching. The hours you spend balancing on one foot, the barefoot dribbling in your hallway, the thousands of micro decisions you train in chaos. That's where greatness is built, not in the spotlight, in the shadows. Because when the moment hits, the final minutes, the press closing in, the crowd roaring, your body won't freeze. It'll remember, it'll react, it'll stay calm. Not because you're fearless, but because you've trained your nervous system to treat pressure not as a threat, but as a signal, a message, where the space is, where the next pass opens up, what the defender can't do. And in that moment, you won't just survive the pressure, you'll own it. You'll become the player everyone looks for, the one who never seems to rush, the one who makes the hard look easy, the pressure vacuum. Because the calmest player on the pitch isn't the most talented, he's the one who prepared. So train sharp, train where it's uncomfortable, train to feel the game, not just play it. Because when the chaos hits, the game doesn't speed up for everyone. For you, it just feels like home.